Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the TB-SE1 portable diesel heater made by Dr. Seuss. Just kidding, it's made by Hcalory. We are going to see how much this thing can decrease the suckitude of working in cold weather. And what I mean is, how much can it raise the temperature in 3 different scenarios? We're going to try it in the van, then we're going to try it at the shop at the ranch, which is like 22-ish by 30, and then last, we are going to try it in this shop, which is 24 by 30 with 12-foot walls, 16-foot peak, absolutely no insulation whatsoever. This thing is an 8 kilowatt, which is about 27,000 BTUs, which is roughly the same as one of those propane heaters that looks like a space alien. So I kind of qualify as a handy doofus, and it took me about 10 minutes to put this thing together. And what you have basically is a heat exchanger, so a diesel burner in an aluminum case in here, and a fan that blows across the aluminum case. That means there is no open combustion in the shop. We'll dive into that in a minute. All of the exhaust gases get pumped out of the exhaust pipe. For this thing to work, it needs power, ideally 12-13 volts, basic car voltage, because that runs the fuel pump and the glow plug and the fan. So it comes with this contraption that you hook up to any 12-volt car battery. I am certain I will cut those things off and make a cigarette lighter attachment so that I can use it in a car or with one of the power stations, the BougeRv or the ALLPOWERS. Now it also comes with an AC adapter. Standard AC plug, converts to 12 volts, goes in the machine. So we're gonna really challenge this thing, and what I mean is we gotta find out if it can actually make a dent in a shop this size, because there are a lot of heaters on the market that can, but I got some beef with those things. So I will not use a heater in a shop like this that has open combustion, whether that's a wood stove, a torpedo, one of those propane things. I don't want open flame of any kind in the shop because I spill stuff. I spilled the fuel going into here. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen a vapor fire actually happen, but it's really scary. Basically, vapor is invisible and it creeps across the floor. It hits an ignition source and it just poof, and then races back toward the fuel source, and then kaboom. Or vice versa, you light the fuel source and then the vapor runs out in a big old wall of fire. Just look on the YouTubes for idiots starting fires with gasoline. So the last thing I want is a constant ignition source waiting for me to make a mistake.
Sometimes we make a mistake.
Also, we expose ourselves to a lot of stuff in this hobby. Chemicals, solvents, paints, particulates, all kinds of stuff. So I don't need to add to that fact with like a kerosene heater. If you've ever been around a kerosene heater for a long time, yes, it warms the room and it's trapping the heat in there, but it's also trapping all of the leftover combustion gases. And to me, it's like an instant headache. I don't want to be breathing that stuff in day after day. I would rather be cold. So this thing separates the exhaust gas from the heat. So we're going to fire this thing off in here for the first time, just make sure everything's working, all of that. And then we're going to start our actual experiments. These things are rated for like 250 square foot. So we're going to be way, way, way above what it's advertised to do. And on top of that, square feet has nothing to do with cubic volume of air, which there's a lot in here. So we'll see. We'll see what it does. All right, it's pumping out some warm air. It is no longer pumping out much smoke. I would say the initial burn-in has been done. So move the van back here. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna use the AC180 from BougeRv to power this thing. This thing is totally trashed. Forgive me, my whole life is like this right now. We are currently at like 43 degrees in here. This is the thermometer we'll use for all of our experiments. I think the best thing I can do is just leave the door cracked. It was like 28 when I woke up this morning. It's closer to 40 now. So let's just see how this thing does. So we're just gonna leave it cracked like that. These things, as far as I understand, they were designed many, many, many years ago and have been heating truck cabs for a long, long, long time.
Big rigs.
I think the technology is tried and true, and it's kept truckers from dying from asphyxiation from carbon monoxide and stuff in their cabs. But if I were gonna camp in here, I would definitely put in a carbon dioxide meter just in case. So I've got it running on full blast in here. All you're really hearing is the fan noise. The fuel pump's drowned out or it's moving too quickly to be loud. It's just kind of like white noise, but this is on its number 6 setting, which is just full blast. On that, even going through the AC, it'll run for 15.6 hours. It's been running for about 10 minutes. And in the back of the van, we're already sneaking up to 60 degrees. So that's pretty quick work, even with the door cracked open like this. All right, this is proving everything I need to prove. It's already up to 65 degrees. I have no doubt that it can continue to heat this van. It's actually getting kind of warm, so I'm gonna shut it down. We're gonna move on to experiment number 2. Check, it worked. All right, so here we are with test number 2. This thing's got, I don't know, a quarter tank of fuel, but it's still totally manageable to carry around. So I do think it is legitimately portable. Maybe not quite so much as the website would make you believe. None of the edges of the roof are sealed. There's no insulation whatsoever. It's not an ideal situation, and it's not the most efficient situation, but it's really where we are. So I want to see if this heater can take the edge off of the situation. So behind me is the Datsun 720, and this thing has been fighting me oh so very bad. And this is where I think the heater might really help. I'm spending hours and hours and hours that are not very fruitful trying to diagnose this. And when I am cold and I am uncomfortable and I'm already not having a good time, maybe not having fun at the moment, it makes it a lot easier to want to just give up and walk away. Go eat some hearty food, crawl under the blankets, and come out in spring. So I'm hoping that making it a little bit more comfortable in here will make it a little bit easier to fight the good fight, because that's what we got to do. All right, so currently in the shop, right where I stand to work, it's about 48 degrees. Gone ahead and jammed this thing in the fastest way I could get it, which is shoving the exhaust under the door. Granted, it doesn't promise to turn your drafty shop into a sauna. However, I currently have a drafty shop, and my priority is not to insulate it right now. Like, I'd like to at some point, but we all have our priorities in our lives. But I do need to get this thing moving, literally, and not freezing while I do it would be a lot more pleasant. So I want to see what kind of dent this thing can make in a situation like this, because if it can make a dent in here, roughly 500 square foot shop, 9-10 foot walls, no insulation, metal roof, well, if you have anything better than that, well, it's only going to do better for you. All sorts of models of these are being shown all over YouTube, and a lot of people are building really cool heat banks to collect the exhaust heat out of old radiators or sandbanks or whatever, and all that's really cool. Maybe one day for a more permanent install, but right now I'm trying to test it as it's like portable out of the box kind of scenario. So it is cooking away. Holding your hand, it's like, I mean, it's very hot. The question is, how much volume of air can it do, and how bad is this place leaking, and can it make a difference? That's the question. So this thing has been running for 2 hours, 52, 54 degrees in here. It's currently 46 degrees outside, and we are no longer in direct sunlight. In fact, the sun is going way down. It's about 4:20, 4:30. So it is definitely keeping up with the draftiness and beating it just a little bit. So I'm pretty impressed. I mean, you can see how much the garage door is open. There's light leaks pretty much everywhere. If I'm being honest, it's a little better than I expected. Again, fuel consumption is not my greatest concern here, because its efficiency is only based on the efficiency of the space you're trying to heat, right? And this is not. So the question in my mind was, would it make a difference? Like, would it actually help? And the answer is yes. Also, after 2 hours in here, there's no ozone, no diesel smell, nothing like that, which is a really big deal. If a kerosene heater had been on for 2 hours, we'd know it right as we walked in the door. And no open flame. That's the other thing. No open flame. So the exhaust is extremely hot. So there is a ton of energy coming out of the exhaust that if you could recapture in some way through a heat bank or run it through a radiator, there's a lot of energy to recapture there. But still, right now it's working and the portability is pretty great. So, all right, gang, the sun is going down here, and this is a standard Carolina Carports metal building, 24 by 30, 12-foot wall, 16-foot peak. The temperature is plummeting as the sun goes down. I think the low's in the upper 20s tonight. So we're gonna take this thing, set it up. Just gonna let it run for a few hours and see if it can take the edge off this situation. So hopefully I didn't break my cheap thermometer by moving it all around. This one's showing 50. That one's showing like 42. So unfortunately, my best setup for this, to continue to treat it like a temporary solution, is just vent it out from under the garage door, which again creates another hole in this building. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did in the other garage, just turn it on full blast. We'll just check on it periodically. All right, a couple minutes later, she's all warmed up. Heat exchanger is around 375 degrees already, and it's putting out some pretty warm air. I think it's just a matter of whether or not this thing can heat enough air fast enough to keep the air that's already coming in and the cooling effect of the metal that's being touched by the freezing cold air outside. And I don't really know if it can. All right, we're about 2.5 hours in. It's 36 degrees outside. I'm seeing roughly 42 in here. It doesn't feel discernibly warmer, if I'm being honest with you. Plenty warm right in front of it, but it's not really taking the edge off. We'll let it go for a couple more hours, see what happens. The short version is it's not keeping up with the temperature dropping in here yet. It's 35 degrees outside. We've only got about 42 in here. Granted, this space is absolutely huge. This thing is cooking away at full blast. Standing in front of it, it is plenty warm. It is putting out very, very warm air. So I am shutting her down for the evening. There doesn't seem to be much point in burning the fuel all night just as an experiment. We've held steady at 5 to 7 degrees above ambient temperature as the temperatures dropped, but this place is huge, right? Relatively speaking. It is portable, just like they said. I had it in 3 locations today. We had it in the van for a while, worked swimmingly. Moved it to the other shop, which is smaller, with a lower roof. It did pretty well in there, even not set up for maximum efficiency. And then in here, I think it's just too much air volume and it's simply too cold. However, using this thing, because it's portable, and ducting to your regular work area, I still think it's better than pretty much any other heater that I can think of. A kerosene heater at 80,000 BTUs is going to put all of that combustion byproduct into the atmosphere that you're working in, and it's an open flame close to the ground, which is something that I'm not willing to have in my workshops. It's way hotter than this thing, and the fact that it has a fan, it actually blows the heat onto you as opposed to just going straight up like that thing. And similarly with propane heaters, the heat mostly rises, but you also get all that carbon monoxide and all of the combustion gases inside the building. So this thing, even in its most simple form, just put together and run, exhaust run out, no exhaust heat recapturing, no insulation, no nothing, it's still doing a pretty good job. And I think I have like 6 hours of runtime on it today alone, and it didn't miss a beat, like not once. I think you can expect this thing to perform at 27,000 BTUs, and that will work as well for you as your space is designed for that, if that makes sense. It's not the heater's fault that this place is not insulated, drafty, and large. So it absolutely works right out of the box. 170 bucks isn't bad, especially because every single one of these parts is available for repair. If you ever had an issue, you can actually fix this thing yourself, without a doubt. It's easy enough to move it from one shop to the next, but I think I'll build an exhaust port of some kind into this shop and an exhaust port into the other shop. So all I have to do is just take the heater and like hook it up to the exhaust, probably with some kind of rudimentary heat exchanger to get some of that exhaust heat back, but still get all the noxious gases out. It's way better than not having anything, and honestly, it's way better than anything I had. And I've honestly never heard of anything else that will do this type of heating without noxious gases coming into the building. Like in here, technically, it's probably big enough and vented enough that I could vent the exhaust gas in here, but just don't want to breathe that stuff in. I'd rather be a little chilly because it does generate a lot of warm air. And so long as you're in the vicinity of it, it's going to improve your circumstances. I really appreciate them sending this out. It is going to make the rest of my winter significantly more pleasant. And I hope this real world sort of test helps you out if you're shopping for these, because they're not crazy expensive, but they're also not cheap. And a lot of the reviews I've seen are all about the features and how to set them up and all of that stuff, but nobody's like really used one in a situation like this. So anyway, good luck on your projects. Stay warm out there, and we'll see you next time on Between the Sharks.